Welcome to the 2014 Who Are You season-long all-event demographic study of Drum Corps International live events. This particular presentation is for survey volunteers, and it outlines what we expect survey volunteers to do and sort of what the project is all about. I'm Steve Auditor, and I organize this project for Drum Corps International. At some point, you've probably talked to your event management people, and they're telling you what time to meet with your contest coordinator. I'm not exactly sure what they're going to be telling you, but we do want to do some of our surveying before the event, so I suspect and I hope that we're meeting with our contest coordinators well before the start of the event. To get your help, you understand the magnitude of the project that we're taking on this year. It is a season-long, all-event demographic study of people that are attending events. This year we have over 110 events across the country that we're going to be looking at. Last year we had over 350,000 patrons attend our events. This study will be done on handheld tablets. We have a pool of tablets, and we will disperse them throughout the country through the season to make sure that we have enough tablets at each event to handle the audience size that we have there. These survey tablets will be circulated during the event by the survey volunteers. That's your primary role in this project. Take the tablets from the contest coordinator, who will give them to you, and circulate them through the event, and then return them to the contest coordinator at night. All the surveys will be completed on these tablets. We have a pool of them during and at the event. The reason we're doing them at the event is so that we know that the person responding was at that particular event. There will be 2 volunteers per survey tablets. You circulate the tablets through the event before, during, after the event. Circulate them in the concession area, circulate them in the ticket lines, so you can circulate them in the stands during an admission. And what we really want you to do, and this is very important, you select the first person to get the tablet, but then we want the person that fills out the survey to pick the next person. So we want the patron who's completed the survey to select the next patron to complete the survey, and on and on and on. In theory, we want the tablet to move from one volunteer towards the other volunteer, with the patron selecting who gets the next one. The reason that we're doing this is that we want to eliminate sample bias. We want the patrons to select who's in the sample rather than the survey volunteer to select the patron who's in it. Well, then the other things that you need to do in addition to getting the survey tablets going is to keep track of them and to help people out. There may be questions about doing things. We suspect that there are certainly people in the audience or people that will be taking this survey who may not be familiar with touchscreen applications. So the basic logistics of this for the volunteers. You are our key on-site personnel, the survey volunteers, and then the Drum Corps International Contest Coordinator. The coordinator gets you the tablets, but what there should be 1 to 8 tablets assigned for the patrons at your event to use to complete the survey while they're at the event. That's important, at the event. The event volunteer partners will be asked to provide 2 volunteers per tablet for the event. And what your job is, and I'm going to reiterate this again and again and again, circulate the tablets through the audience, through the venue, before, after, during, concession areas, ticket lines, whatever. If a tablet's not moving and no one's taking surveys, we're kind of missing why we're trying to get this project done. There should always be someone that can be taking a survey. Circulate them all around. What we're asking of you again, we've got 2 partners, circulate the tablets. I keep saying that, but that's what we want to get done. Circulate the tablets through the event. Circulate it in ticket lines. Go out in front of the ticket lines. So the reception area. If you go in the stands, say at an intermission, have a volunteer on one end of the row, start the tablet down the row and towards the other volunteer. Instruct the patron that they should pass it along towards the other volunteer, but there also are instructions on the tablet and the opening screen that tells the patron to complete it and then pass it along when they're done. We're relying upon you, the survey volunteers, and whoever's in your event staff to help figure out where the best place to collect surveys is. It might be that you have somebody at the front gate when people come in with their tickets, get them to take a survey right then and there and pass the tablet on to somebody else. You might go outside in a ticket line, a will call line. You might go to a reception area that you have for premium customers. We want them in this. So again, circulate the tablets. That's what we want. Move them around. Don't let them sit still. What we were asking of the patrons, we're not asking any personal information that can be used to track back to them. We're not asking emails. We're not asking phone numbers. We're not asking addresses. We're not asking names. We're looking at some very macro level demographic information. But we start off with a pretty simple question. Have you taken this survey already at this event? We don't want somebody to take 6 surveys or 2 surveys at one event. So if they answer honestly, they'll be bumped from the survey. However, we do want them to take the survey if they have taken a survey at another event. It's perfectly reasonable that one person or some people might go to multiple events. And what we want is what we would like every person that goes to an event to fill out a survey, but only one. So if someone goes to an event that happened last week and they did a survey and they're at your event and they want to know whether they should do a survey, yes, we want everybody that goes to an event to fill out a survey for that event, even if they've gone to other events. The data and the information that we're collecting, zip code, which is an interesting question, we'll talk about that in a second. The gender, the year of birth, your racial and ethnic heritage. And then questions that we're very keen on are, what's the one reason that has driven you to come to this event tonight? Are you a parent? Are you a friend? Are you a band director? What's the strongest motivator that got you into the stands for this event this evening? And then the last question is, what's your relationship to drum corps? Here you can select from a number of different responses. You can pick whether you're an alumni and a band director and a parent or a player or whatever. There are multiple responses that you can put in for this particular question. So that's kind of the data that we're trying to collect from the patrons. There are areas and questions that do say I don't want to respond, so you have the opportunity of not responding in particular to some questions. On the zip code question, if you put in if you're from outside the country, you put in 5 zeros, that'll tag you as being from outside the country. But we'll talk about that again here. The survey itself should take about 1 minute for the patron to complete, depending upon their familiarity with touchscreen applications. Now, here's how this kind of works, in that you take the tablet to the area where you want people to respond, ticket lines or wherever, and keep going back to that, because that is why you're here. Get this thing circulating through the stands, in the stands, under the stands, in the lines. If there's a line waiting to get in the restroom, take it there. When the tablet, if it's in the stands and it reaches the end of a row or a section, the other volunteer collects it and moves it to another row and section. That's for the case where you decide that you're going to take a tablet into the stands, the 2 of you. Volunteers are relied on to sample the audience, selecting rows or lines or areas randomly to avoid oversampling one section or ticket price. What we don't want is we don't want to get the tablet stuck in a large group of, say, a band shows up and we have the tablet just rolling through the band. We want to get some of the band, but then we want to move on to some other people. It should take less than a minute to complete, and we are anticipating that the patrons will actually assist each other in taking the surveys and that they will pass it down. When the event ends, this is key, make sure that you have your tablets and return them to the show or contest coordinator. You should have set a rally point up for this earlier on at the briefing. The zip code question. This is the only sort of semi-tricky question on here, in that when you get to it, the application will present the patron a numeric keypad where they can punch in their zip code, 5-digit zip code, and then they hit the go key, and then they have to hit the submit key. So there's a slight little perturbation to the process there. If they're from outside the United States, I think I previously mentioned, they enter 5 zeros, and that tags them as being from outside the United States. So that's what we're doing this year. It's the 2014 Who Are You project, a season-long demographic study of who's showing up at Drum Corps International live events. We're going to be doing this at every state in the country that we have events in. We're going to try to get it done at every event, and we can't do this without you. So we very, very much appreciate you volunteering to be part of this project. We wish you luck with this project. We hope it works out pretty well. And circulate your tablets. Have a good time, and hopefully you get to watch some of the great drum corps presentations this evening. If you have any questions, I can be reached at research@dci.org, and I'm Steve Auditor. Thanks again for your time, and thanks again for volunteering.